It's a death-defying life I lead. I take my chances. I die for living in the movies and TV. But the hardest thing
Well, I'm not in Hawaii anymore. I'm actually here in the Heskett Center in the natatorium where swimming takes place, but we thought this would be a fun place to have a Q&A about Hawaii, since it's the most tropical place we have on campus here at the Heskett Center. We actually use this building, the second floor, as our indoor track. And so shop your track and field, we're in here all the time. Sometimes we'll put the athletes in this pool and put them through a workout. And so we thought this would be a good place to have a little conversation about Hawaii. This is Curt, if you don't remember him from last time. We did this about Alaska. So a little bit of extremes, 49th to the 50th state, Alaska, all the way to Hawaii.
All right, seems appropriate, you know.
So these are a lot of questions from you, and maybe Curt has a couple of his own, and I might ask him something, who knows. Have you been to Hawaii before?
I have, yeah, twice actually.
And what islands did you go to?
Oahu and Maui.
So those are two of them I went to, so so I just on Sunday, before this video, put my last video up about Hawaii, where it's kind of a tour of all the places we went. So hopefully you saw those, or saw the road to Hana, or some of the hiking we did. So it was an awesome trip, but yeah. So questions, what do you think?
Well, you planned this for your family, right? So how did you go around or go about selecting the islands and the places you stayed? Did you have any resources that you used, or let's do that?
So I found that like Hawaii's a little bit intimidating to try to figure out if you've never been there.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, me and my brother and my uncle and my sister-in-law, we were planning a family trip. It was my birthday, so that was the whole crux of the reason going there. And so initially trying to figure it out, we just had a big group text, and we were like, where do we want to go? We kind of wanted to avoid the highly populated areas like Honolulu, we're there for a day. But we wanted to kind of see at least a couple different places, and not just be like a day here, a day there, just be traveling. So we were like, let's spend 3 days, let's pick 2 islands, let's spend 3 days each, and just asking around, asking friends, trying to figure it out. Kauai seemed to be one of the more laid-back islands. That's why we picked that one. And there's only 70,000 people on that whole island.
Oh, wow.
And so that was, felt rural at times. There wasn't any big cities there. You could really kind of just explore around and be laid back. And then Maui, they had the fires there. And so we thought that would be a good place to go. And obviously Maui's beautiful. It's known for the road to Hana and several other places. So we thought that was watchable. So those were the two we centered on. And then we're like, well, let's go to Honolulu for a day. We were going to do Pearl Harbor, and that didn't end up working out. But we still had a good time on the island there. But yeah, so it was a little bit of a guessing, but asking some friends that have been there. Obviously, a lot of people have gone to Hawaii. Probably many of you have been to Hawaii, and definitely made me want to go back.
Tell me about the time change. How did that affect your trip?
It's, I think, 5-hour time difference from Wichita. 6 hours from my family coming from Ohio, and it was great there because 5 hours different. I'm waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning ready for the day, and I could kind of keep sleeping, and every day we just kind of like sleep a little later. But by 5 o'clock in the morning we were all up and ready to go, and so that was wonderful. But coming back was not wonderful. I actually just talked to my brother, and he talked about being like a week and a half before he felt like he could get up back to his normal time to feel good. And so I was the same way. I'm not a morning person, but it made it even worse. So I could have come back and slept till noon if I wanted to, if I didn't have to get up. So the time change coming back was definitely a struggle. I've heard the same thing when people go to like Europe, it's the other way, and because you're going the other direction. And so so it was great there. So if you're going to go visit Hawaii, it's going to be awesome because you're going to wake up early and you're going to have the whole day to explore. We were ready for bed at 8:30 in the evening, which is early for me. I'm more of a night owl. So yeah, that was interesting. I didn't really think about how much that would affect me.
Did you learn a lot about the history of Hawaii while you're there?
Yeah, I like history, but I'm more about the history in the Midwestern part of the country in Ohio where I'm from. And Hawaii is fascinating because in talking to some people like from there, it's probably I guess in Alaska, but it's probably the most different state of all the states, just because of its geographic location, and it was, a kingdom of Hawaii previous, and
monarchy and all that.
Yeah, and I know somebody that lives there, and they said that if I make some videos to refer to it as the Kingdom of Hawaii, because a lot of people there, that's what they want it to be.
Oh.
And there's a lot of struggle with it trying to keep its natural state, but also meeting tourism. And there's this battle back and forth. And I can imagine going there 60 years ago when it was just first becoming a state, and how untouched it probably was. And now you go to like a place like Honolulu, and it's just like going to Miami. It's just a city.
Yeah.
And I think people there don't like that, but also it brings a lot of money to people like me. And so, it's kind of a danged if you do, danged if you don't situation, I think, for people that live there. But there's a lot of history that people are trying to keep untouched and to learn. And for me, it was great. I just learned a little bit about Hawaiian history and made me want to come back and learn more, and then go back the next time and be more comfortable with, where I'm going and how to respect the different aspects of, their history that they're just trying to, keep their traditions, basically,
So you mentioned going to Maui. Do you see a lot of the fire damaged areas?
So it's something that wasn't in any of the videos that I made, because they talked about not filming in those places out of respect for, the people there. And we drove through the most fire damaged town, and it was almost it felt like going through Greensburg, Kansas after the tornado.
Yeah.
And I actually had driven through there after the tornado back, I don't know how long ago that was now, 15 years ago. And that's what it felt like. There's just, the ground was different than everything else around it, And so that was sobering, I guess. Certainly they're rebuilding. It feels like they'll get back to where they were. But the problem is I'm going to mess up the name of the town. The main town, let's just put the name of it on there, because I'm going to mess up the pronunciation of it. There was a whole bunch of historical parts of that town that got severely damaged. So you can't build a new building and replace that. You can replace a Burger King, you know what I mean? But the historic parts of that town that got destroyed, that's really sad, because that's gone forever. But, it was certainly a rough little part to drive through, and I can understand why they don't want people in there filming. So I definitely didn't do the filming there.
Give it a trace. Yeah. Could you tell the difference between the three islands that you went to? I mean, they all look beautiful to me, but was there like any distinct differences?
Yeah, certainly. So the three were Hawaii, Maui, and Oahu. And Oahu is where Honolulu is. That one's different because there's so many people there. And Kauai, it was laid back. It's just more natural, more easygoing feel. Maui felt like there were just a lot of touristy beaches. So if you want to go to some beaches, Maui has some awesome places like that. There's just tons of them all over the place. So Maui had, these really great beaches and beautiful, just incredibly beautiful landscapes. And in Oahu, we didn't get to do a ton of Oahu, but it just felt more crowded. And there's only so much space on an island. So even once you get out of Honolulu, there's other cities that are more crowded than Kauai or Maui. So each one had a kind of unique feel. So made me feel like I'd like to go. There's like 3 more islands you can go to, and it makes me like next time I want to go just see how different they are. They're almost like their own little states, kind of.
Yeah.
But I know there's celebrities. That's part of some of the frustration from the people there. Just celebrities that have bought up big chunks of the island, and but hopefully they respect what the history of it is, and they don't just buy it to build skyscrapers on or something like that.
Thanks, Oprah.
An island for you, an island for you. Everybody has an island.
Well, speaking of pineapples, how was the food? I mean, what was that like? Oh, from the Midwest.
That's something that I'm terrible on my videos about putting food. I don't know. I just forget. Food was amazing. I think I gained several pounds while I was there. And, we were trying to eat seafood. So obviously getting seafood all the time. It was great. I mean, it was not as expensive as I thought it might be, because in Alaska it was more expensive. The food was more expensive in Alaska.
Yeah.
And so that was like, okay, it's not too bad. And we found this great taco place called Tiki Tacos. And it was just this little hole-in-the-wall place. My brother and my uncle said it's the best tacos they've ever had in their entire life.
That's an endorsement.
And I live in Wichita. There's some pretty good taco places here, so it definitely ranks up there. But the food overall, it's hard to go wrong in many of the places around there.
Well, I think you mentioned this already, but you would like to go back. What would you do the next time you go back?
So the other 3 islands I didn't go to are smaller in population. And so to me, it would be probably trying to really go on the back roads of some of those places and get out, and learn the history more of those really small, unique places. It's like going to not a ghost town, but to somewhere in the middle of Wyoming that there's just no population, but it's just incredibly beautiful. And the fact that those other islands aren't as touristy makes me excited, because I'm like, well, you see it in a more natural state,
right?
So but then there's an island there that part of it you can't go to at all. It's there was a leper colony there, and it's a national park, and there's only certain people that can go there. And so who knows, maybe in a few years if I go back again, that could be something I could visit. And so it's fascinating to you go to these touristy places and the beaches and all this stuff, and then you think, well, just across the way you can literally see the islands across the way. You feel like I could take a boat or swim over there, but it's just totally different people that live there, and just different history on each island. So that'd be great if I was able to go in.
Awesome. We brought back some beautiful content, and I love the Garden of Eden. That's probably like my favorite spots that you shot.
One of the things I get asked about the weather a lot, and it was humid. It was, the temperatures were similar. I was an idiot, and the first hotel I booked, the hotels didn't have air conditioning. So we had fans going on us. So that's something, look to make sure they had air conditioning, but there are some warm places there. And it's pouring down rain here in Wichita today. And last time we did this Alaska video, talked about your running. And this reminds you probably of a race that you just ran.
Yep. Yeah.
Tell us about that race.
It was the Salina Marathon, and just in context, Kansas has been in a drought for the past year, minimal rain. So the preliminary report was like conditions could be perfect, and but the day before the race, we had a storm that was coming from the southwest that was just nonstop from Texas all the way to Kansas. And 2 hours before the race, they're still debating on whether to hold it. And but we've been thinking, well, we're going to run it whether we get wet or not. And it was a downpour from the starting gun to the finish line. But
and you ran good.
Ran well, yeah. Ran a little personal best for the season, even in the rain. So I was happy with that. And it's a beautiful course, beautifully organized. These volunteers are in the rain, just smiling. So yeah, it was it's pure grit, but it was pure fun at the same time.
So we were supposed to host our conference cross-country championship that day. It was so bad we put it the day before. But these guys were out there. It's hard to reschedule a marathon.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that would, even in lightning, they would still be complaining, like, no, we can still run this thing. We are still running. It's like Caddyshack when the Bill Murray and the priests are golfing.
I'd keep playing.
I keep playing, yeah, not too bad.
No, but the trip to Hawaii was awesome. It really, like I said, it's kind of intimidating to try to figure out how to do it. But now that I'm there, if I was there, I'd feel comfortable now. And, it's like going to a foreign country. It really is.
Yeah.
And so that was awesome. So about as beautiful as you could imagine. The videos and pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that was your experience when you went there as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you experienced this, but we spent about a week there, but coming back to Kansas after being immersed in all that, he just felt like, it's really brown here. Yeah. But at the same time, Kansas is beautiful, but it's nice to have the experience of the tropical islands.
Makes you appreciate, these places when you go and you get a taste of it, then you come back and man, I want to go visit some more places. So
Exactly.
whether it's Hawaii or Fiji or some, other crazy place in the Caribbean. So yeah.
Kansas is a good home base.
That's right. Right in the middle.
Yep.
Anything else?
Nice, man.
All right. Thanks for watching the Hawaii videos. They're a little different than what we normally put out there, but you can be ready for a whole bunch of Midwestern United States coming up on the channel. And whenever every Tuesday, Curt has put these videos together. They're different. We call them Off the Grid. Some cool interviews we've had. We'll have some more of those, and some compilation videos coming up soon of some other trips I've done in the past. So Tuesdays, just random fun, and Thursday and Sunday are back roads of the Midwest. So,
All right, let's go.
all right, let's go get a workout. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of that video. And now that you're here, let me tell you a little bit about some of the extras that we have on the channel. One of the things you can do is you can become a member. There's 3 levels. There's the supporter level, there's the producer level, and the executive producer level. And all 3 levels have different perks, and as you are more supportive financially, there's more perks. We have extra videos every week and a lot of fun stuff going on in the member section. If you haven't done so, make sure you check out travelwithawiseguy.com. We've got lots of extra stuff on there, and one of the things is merchandise. You can get you Travel with a Wise Guy t-shirt. We have Death Go Round t-shirts. We have some coffee mugs, different things that are a lot of fun, and people seem to have enjoyed. Good quality there. Also on the website, you can do things like check out the Google map. I have a pin dropped in every place I've done videos about, then a link to the video so you can look at the map, and maybe there's somewhere where you live or somewhere you want to go. You can check out that map, and it seemed to be a very popular thing. You can sign up for my newsletter. I do that about every 3 weeks. It's totally free. And there's also all kinds of other links and tidbits in there, old videos, podcasts, just everything I could think of I throw on the website. So make sure you check out travelwithawiseguy.com. Thank you for everyone who has been supportive of this channel, and thank you so much for making it to the end of this video.
It's like August.
It's like a sauna in here.